Hello everyone, I'm Erika Loria, a researcher on game analytics and social network analysis in games at the Game Lab at the Graz University of Technology. Today I'll present a systematic literature review of non-social players in games on behalf of my colleagues Joanna Pirker and Lennart Nake. The act of playing together is in all aspects a social phenomenon. Social play is highly beneficial for players as it makes them feel connected to others and experience a greater engagement. This provokes in them a sense of well-being and builds social capital. As a result, through in-game interactions, players form full-fledged social networks. However, participation and connectedness in online social networks is not well distributed. In traditional social communities, the vast majority of the population is made of silent observers known as lurkers. Yet, little is known about lurking behaviors in games, and whether lurkers exist and if they resemble online social network lurkers. While it might seem counterintuitive for lurkers to exist in such highly interactive environment as games, due to previous evidence linking games and online social networks, we speculate that lurkers also populate online multiplayer games. Lurkers' reduced sociality also recall for the concept of game loners, who minimize in-game social interactions and prefer acting as a lone wolf. This overlap leaves the question of whether loners are the game equivalent of lurkers, or if more nuanced investigations and definitions are needed. Towards this, we reviewed and analyzed the game's user research literature to understand how lurkers and loners are defined in games, and which characteristics they exhibit. Combining online social network lurkers connotation and the most acclaimed meaning used in games, we provide the following definitions. Lurkers are active users who prefer browsing and studying the environment. Yet they are committed to the online multiplayer platform and feel attached to the community. Whereas loners are active players who have few social contact with others, even in multiplayer settings. Besides defining lurkers and loners, we model players' interaction behaviors in two axes. Interaction with the environment that goes from passive to active participation, and interaction with the community that ranges from having a high to a low sense of community. Lurkers passively participate, although being attached to the community. Loners have a low sense of community but actively participate in the game. When the value in both axes are low, we have a lone lurker. Conversely, we can call pack wolves players who actively participate and are also connected to the community. Please note that those are extreme points, and players are likely to fall somewhere in between those categories. Besides those definitions, we could also outline some properties and link those to lurkers and loners, mostly regarding their in-game behaviors, but also about psychological and motivational factors. Also important is the evidence showing that in many cases, most of the population is made of non-social individuals, and they are more likely to be females. This table is also a blueprint for the factors requiring more in-depth investigation in the future. Researchers argue for the importance of better understanding those behaviors and reaching a greater awareness of the whole community and its social rules. And so many areas are still open for further investigation, such as defining objective identification metrics, studying a psychological and behavioral characterization, and detailed design implications. In conclusion, we reviewed the game literature to understand how isolating lurking behaviors observed in traditional online social networks can also exist in games. We identified two patterns of behaviors: lurkers who tend to observe other playings and loners who act in solitary, which we modeled in a two-axis interaction model, as well as identified future research direction investigating them. For more details, please refer to the paper below, which you can also find by scanning this QR code. Thank you.